Hello everyone, Carlos Flores, back on basics. Let me adjust my camera a little bit. Before we begin this YouTube video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so that you can get notified of any new videos that come on board. Hit the like button. So, this is introvert versus extrovert, the two different personality types. And we'll talk about both of them. We'll see the plus and minuses of both. So if you have any topics that you want me to go over or give you my take on, put them in the comment section, and I'll be happy to make videos for your topics, involving your topics. If you want to connect with me on Facebook at Carlos Flores Jr. Connect with me on Instagram at Back on Basics. Connect with me on X at Back on Basics as well. So let's talk about being an introvert versus an extrovert. So it's polar opposites. Remember, psychology is about polar opposites. You have to understand that. If you watch all my videos, it actually talks about being polar opposite, right? And usually, guess what? Usually, the middle of the road is where everything is neutral. It's where you get focused. It's where you get all the focus and optimize mental capacity to make the decisions. It's in the here and now, right? And so extrovert and introvert are polar opposites. So let's start out with an introvert. I'm an introvert. You don't think that I'm an introvert, but I am. I love doing these videos. I love sharing my knowledge. I love sharing things out so that way you can benefit from it, so other people can benefit from it. Thank you very much to the 145 subscribers to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for subscribing. Again, new videos every day. Starting tomorrow, there'll be a Spanish and an English longer video or mid-range video. And so being an introvert, to me, if I can define myself, is being able to hide myself in a crowd. And I can do that. I mean, people acknowledge me, and I get it. And people will acknowledge you. It doesn't mean that you're going to be invisible. It just means that you can get away with not saying much. But then again, you have to think about this. If you're in a meeting and you're not saying much, then that means that your opinion is not being put into the decision-making process. So there are some positives and some negatives of being an introvert, just as there's positive and negatives of being an extrovert. So an introvert means that, for the most part, again, some of us have realized how to be extroverted like this, or being part of meetings, or being part of like work functions, and I'll tell you how in a little bit. But being an introvert also means that a lot of the times you want to do things on your own. Is it good? To a certain extent is good, to a certain extent is not, because you don't want to ostracize anybody else. You don't want to not connect, emotionally, physically, psychologically with others around you. Excuse me. A little allergies. And so being an introvert, you have to have a balance. And that's what I mean. If introvert is here and extrovert is here, if you're an introvert, as long as you're moving closer to the middle of the road, or just the middle, you'll see that you don't have to stop being introverted, but you can still interact with people. You can have an extrovert side to you. And that's an important thing, because remember, we talked about adaptation, right? Adapting. And that's one of the things that I encourage everybody to learn how to do, how to adapt. If you're an introvert like myself, then what I did is I actually got into groups that would make me talk about myself, talk about others, present. I mean, I've been going to school so much that I've made so many different presentations, individual, team, I mean, I've done them over the internet. I've done them face to face. I mean, it's so many presentations that I've gotten used to speaking in public. It doesn't mean that I'm always going to be the life of the party, which we will see later on with the extroverts. But I'm able to interact for a long period of time with others without feeling like I'm tired, or I just want to be by myself, or I'm just going to take a break talking to people. And believe me, an introvert feels that way most of the time until they learn that we all have an extrovert tank. It's kind of like a tank. It's kind of like a gasoline tank, right? You know how gasoline tanks can go from empty to full, right? Empty to full. For an introvert, having an extrovert tank, it doesn't fill up all the way. So for me, I tell people, look, I'm an introvert, but I am happy to be an extrovert and talk to people and share things with people and present to people and everything. But my tank is only halfway full. So my tank, my extrovert fuel source will go down quicker than everybody else. While everybody else can go from one person to another, I have to strategically take some time and actually pull myself off to the side. Then usually I just get some water, I just get a soda, and then I sit myself down a little bit. I have my soda, my water, or whatever else, and then I sit by myself and I refuel myself. Again, keeping in mind that I have realized that my tank, my extrovert tank, only goes up to halfway. But as soon as I'm full, I go back out. So the short breaks as an introvert, so that way you can go back out. If you're in a job that you have to speak with people and you're an introvert, that's an easy way for you to kind of increase your tank and then go back and then increase it again and then go back. Take short breaks. It's okay to take short breaks. Nobody's going to notice. Everybody else is going to be busy talking to each other. Off to the side, have some soda, have some water, whatever other different kind of drink that you have. Eat some finger food or whatever is there available. Just compose yourself, breathe in, breathe out. Remember what we talked about, right? Breathe in and hold it for about 5 seconds and then breathe out. See, again, I'm already feeling good. The body knows that when I'm doing that, I'm trying to calm myself down. Sit by yourself. I mean, sit at a table, stand up, just look at what I do. Okay, here's another tip for you. What I do as an introvert, when I'm actually getting my extrovert tank back up so I can go back and talk to people, is I look at the room, I survey the room, and I look and see, okay, which people do I want to prioritize to talk to? Because again, I'm an introvert. I have a limited tank, right? I'm not going to be able to talk to everybody. So I'm not going to just go willy-nilly or talk to everybody. I'm going to be strategic and talk to the people that I need to talk to, the people that I want to talk to, the people that have actually made a connection with me early in the evening, and I know that I want to come back so that way I can talk to them because we have something in common. And so an introvert has to adapt. Your extrovert tank is not going to be that full. And so sometimes you're going to have to take a break so that way you can refill your extrovert tank. So introverts, there's a lot of good things about being introverted. I mean, you're thinking inside your head, so your mind gets a little bit more sharper. It's one of those things that sometimes you get so good that you can actually talk yourself into putting things together It's like me surveying a room full of people and realizing which people I have to talk to, I want to talk to, and I will not connect with at all. And so, that's what an introvert does. I mean, they keep to themselves, but they're very strategic. Very strategic. Some of the things that may hold an introvert back is the fact that sometimes people just keep coming in while you're recharging, right? When you're refilling the tank, people come in. So you have to realize, right, that sometimes being an introvert has its advantages. One good advantage about being an introvert is that we listen really well. So when somebody comes in, you just greet them and say, "Oh, what do you think about this?" And then you go back and you're quiet and you're trying to, you're paying attention to them, but at the same time you're charging your extrovert tank. You can do that. Let the extroverts talk to you, because they'll take all the time that they need, so that way they can talk to you about whatever topic they want to talk to you. You can recharge at the same time. I mean, nonverbal cues are huge for introverts. You can nod, you can smile, you can say yeah, yeah, and then, I mean, those are cues for an extrovert to keep on talking, and honestly, they will. And so being an introvert has its advantages and disadvantages. So adapt. If you're an introvert, adapt. Don't be just outside. Don't be by yourself. Get out there and talk to people. And then when you feel like, oh, my extrovert tank is empty, say, excuse me for a little bit. I'm gonna go get something to drink. I'm gonna go to the restroom. All right, you go. You have something to drink. You go to the restroom. You are in a quiet place. Right? You're getting set. Your tank is getting halfway full, or however full you think you have your tank. And then you go back out there. Again, a lot of the extroverts as well tend to be people watchers and tend to be the ones that know how to connect with people better. I'm not saying that an extrovert doesn't, but while an introvert can be very specific, an extrovert can be very general. And I know that some people like that as well, for people to be general. And that's fine. Being an extrovert is great. I mean, being an extrovert is kind of like being the life of the party. So let's go to the other extreme, right? So being an extrovert is being like a life of the party. They're the ones whose extrovert tank is probably like a tank and a half. Or it's like almost an unlimited tank sometimes. They can go from person to person to person, and then again, they're the life of the party. They're the ones who start things. They're the ones who get up on stage or get on the microphone and speak. They're the ones who introduce you to others that you need to have an introduction with. So see, that's an advantage of having an extrovert friend or colleague or fellow student. They can introduce you because they want to talk to people. They can introduce you to people that you want to get to know. And so they're the bridge that can help you get, as an introvert, to get and in with the people that you want to talk to. It's great. I mean, having best of both worlds, right? Introvert and extrovert, it's actually down the middle, like I said, because you have half and half. It's like half a tank, half a tank. And it's great because you can go back and forth between introvert and extrovert. And so it's not difficult to adapt, not difficult to listen to your support group, because as an extrovert, you love to talk. You like being, most of the time, if not all the time, the center of the center of the attention. You want to share with people the things that are going well, the things that are going forward, the things that you're working on. I mean, if you're an extrovert and you just want to, like I said, you want to recharge, just talk to an extrovert and let them talk, and you just nod. Nonverbal cues. Yeah, I've thought about that as well. For an extrovert, your introvert love tank it's not even a third. And that's just my opinion. It's not even a third. You can be by yourself, right? For a tiny bit of time. But at some point, you're going to want to talk to somebody. You're going to want to interact with somebody. You're the life of the party. Remember, you're the one who wants to make sure that you talk and you help people and you deal with things with people and you talk things out. You're kind of like an unofficial therapist, because instead of them talking their troubles away, you help them by you talking their troubles away. I mean, you help them look in different directions. You help them see things that the introverts may not see, because they're so focused on the inward while you're focused on the outward. So there's pluses and minuses on both sides. There's positives and negatives on both sides. So again, being middle of the road is where it's at. It's in the present moment. It's in the here and now, right? Having both traits, it's kind of like a chameleon. You have to see yourself as a chameleon when you're working, when you're at an event, when you want to talk to different people. A chameleon knows how to change to kind of be the same as either the predator or the prey that they have. And it's amazing because they look like them. They seem to be like them. And somebody who's middle of the road, right, that has both introvert and extrovert traits is a chameleon. I love being a chameleon. I'm not there yet. I'm not a chameleon yet. But I love being a chameleon because I can relate to people. And I can relate to people as an introvert, and I can relate to people as an extrovert. But I get it. Extrovert people, you have a gift that can get you to places that introverts cannot. You're at a place where you can interact with not only your fellow coworkers, but your supervisor and the supervisor's supervisor. It is a gift. So there's two polar opposites, introvert and extrovert. But the thing is, down the middle is where both traits are at. You have some of the introvert, some of the extrovert traits, and then you're able to adapt because you're in the here and now. You're in the present time. Remember, always be in the present time. Always be in the present. Because that's when your mind is sharp and focused and you can make the best decision. That's when your body's telling you, I'm good, I'm tired, I need to rest, or I'm ready to go. And so again, middle of the road is where you get to move forward. So that way you can move and move and move. You know, one of the things that motivates me is music, and I've said this in many other videos. Def Leppard. That's one of my favorite bands, right? I listen to them. I love their songs. I know their songs, even after, some of their songs are decades ago. They came out decades ago, and I still remember those. And so they tend to be and kind of like in between, because they have to be introverted. So then when they're off stage, they can wind down, but they also have to be extroverted because when they're in front of the audience, you have to tell them a story. You have to sing the songs that you put in your album, so that way you can sell more albums, more records, more downloads nowadays. And so this group is great. This group has done it. I mean, it has story after story, different song, like Pour Some Sugar on Me. That was the first one that I ever heard Def Leppard singing. Hysteria, Two Steps Behind. I mean, there's so many different songs. So again, there is a difference between introvert people and extrovert people. But the best and optimized way is being down the middle. where you are in the here and now, and you have some introvert traits and you have some extrovert traits, and when you put them together, you have the most adaptable person, which I call a chameleon. So, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so that way you can get notified of any new videos that come on board. Put some topics in my comment section so that way I can give you my take on whatever questions you have or whatever topics you have. Give a thumbs up. The difference between introvert and extrovert people. This is great. So, connect with me on Facebook at Carlos Flores Jr. Connect with me on Instagram at Back on Basics. Connect with me on X at Back on Basics. So, till next time, of course, Back on Basics.